Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read, and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year freakout tag. So first off, I can't believe it is already halfway through the year. How insane is that? This year has gone by so fast so far, and I don't know what to do with myself. I had to go through the books that I've already read this year, and I'm pretty behind, I would say, on my Goodreads goal, because my Goodreads goal, I think, is either 70 or 75 books. I'm definitely nowhere close to that. So, yeah, if I want to meet that goal, I have to pick up on my reading for the second half of the year and definitely read a lot more. We'll see how that goes, but this year's already been super busy. So, anyways, let's dive into the mid-year freakout tag, talk about what I've read so far this year, any new surprising books that have shown up, and yeah, we'll go from there. So the first question is, what is the best book that you've read in 2022? So the best book of the year so far for me is The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne, and I only read this book because Marcus chose this for one of my TBRs, and I'm super glad he did because this book was fantastic. It was such a good book. It follows the perspective of three different characters, and they each have their own unique story, but it all kind of has there's one storyline that you're following, but all these three characters are in different parts of this storyline, and it's really fun. They're all really cool characters too. I didn't really have any characters that I didn't like. I really followed along with all their perspectives and enjoyed following along with them, because sometimes when you read books and it will flip to a perspective that you don't really care about. Well, in this one, there are three that you care about a lot. Some you care about more than the others, but what I'm saying is there were none that really bored me. I was very invested the whole time. So yeah, it was a fantastic book, and I'm really glad I read this. So thank you, Marcus, for putting this on my TBR. Then the next question is the best sequel of 2022. So for this one, I chose Saga Volume 9 because this was such a good ending to this first stretch of this series. And it's a sequel for me because it's Volume 9, and I've been reading through the series volume by volume. And so this was the end of this. They're actually continuing with it though, thank goodness, because the end of this one was kind of like a cliffhanger, to be honest. So it was a very intense ending, but it was so good. I read it so fast, and by the end of it, my mind was blown. So I had a great time with it. I really love this series. It's probably my favorite sci-fi graphic novel series, and I would recommend it to anybody that wants that genre in graphic novels. The next one is a new release that you just haven't gotten to yet. So for this one, I actually have a hard copy of it, and that is Gallant by V.E. Schwab. So I really want to read this one. I have it. It's been delivered to the house. It's been sitting on the table. I haven't even put it on the shelves yet. Also, the reason I didn't put it on the shelves is because look at the width of this book. So I'm showing you this. Okay, that's not a good example. If I put it with this one, do you see how this book is wider than all the other books? It kind of sticks out. And so most of the books that I have on my shelf are this size, and this one just kind of goes further. It's more of a square than a rectangle. So I have to figure out where to strategically place this on my shelves where it will look good. But yeah, this is one that I do want to get to. It sounds really good, and I've had so many people tell me that this book is phenomenal. So it's one that I'm looking forward to. But yeah, this is the one. Then we have most anticipated release of 2022. And I had to think about this one for a bit, but there is one that's coming out that I am pretty excited about. And it's called The First to Die at the End, which is in the same world of They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I'm not 100% sure if this is I think it kind of is a prequel, because it's the first person to get the call from the death network that tells you that you're going to die in 24 hours. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this book because They Both Die at the End was very intense book. It hit me right in the feels, and I feel like this one's going to do the same thing. So I don't really know why I'm like excited about it, because I know it's going to make me sad, but I'm still like wanting more of that world. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. The next one is your biggest disappointment. And so for this, I chose Ilatsoe. And that is because I had high hopes going into this that I was going to really enjoy it. And it's not that I didn't enjoy it. It was still a pretty good book for me. Like I gave it a 3 or a 3.5, one of those numbers. And I did enjoy the book. It's just, it was kind of less, like I thought it was going to be like young adult, and it was more middle grade, and I guess I just had a different expectation for it. Like I thought it was going to be a little bit more intense and like advanced, I guess, if that makes sense, but it read like a middle grade. It could be a middle grade for all I know, and if that's the case, then I had a different expectation for it. I think that's the reason why it was probably my biggest disappointment, is just because I was expecting something different. So when I read this, it wasn't really following my expectations. But that being said, it was still a really magical book full of like adventure and spirits and ghosts and all sorts of different things in here. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, so I don't know. I think it was just an expectation thing. Then we have biggest surprise. So for this one, I chose The Electric Kingdom because I didn't really have any expectations for this one. This was a book that I got through NetGalley, and it was a dystopian book. So I was like, oh, cool. Like I like dystopian books. I think it'll be fun. But I didn't have like very high hopes for it, I guess. And I ended up giving this book a 5 stars. Like it was so much fun, and it dealt with a lot of things that I really enjoy when they're blended into a storyline. Yeah, I just had a great time with this. It also has an amazing like dog side character, so I liked that too. But yeah, this one was a lot of fun. If you like dystopians and things that like, it kind of does get morbid at parts, because the reason that it's like a dystopian world is because the world is kind of being ravaged by like these flies that will like come down essentially as like giant swarms and just like devour everything in sight. So it gets pretty intense. It gets pretty gory in some scenes. But if you like that kind of stuff, then you might enjoy this book. The next one is favorite new author. And so for this one, I'm choosing Darcy Coates because I just read The Haunting of Leigh Harker. I feel like you guys are going to get sick of me talking about this book because I've literally had it in probably like my last 4 videos. But I don't know, she just captured me, and I was like pulled into her book immediately. And as soon as I finished it, I wanted to read more books by this author. So I'm definitely going to be picking up more of their books in the future. I've been researching some of them to see like which ones I should get. And yeah, like I really want to read them. They have a really unique way of writing like a ghost story, but also making it seem so captivating. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading more of her books, and I'm excited to dive into like those new mysteries. Okay, the next one is newest fictional crush, and I don't usually get fictional crushes on characters, but for this one I chose 2 because there were 2 specific characters from this entire trilogy, and that is the Aurora Rising trilogy. Now, I think that Zila, who is one member of their little like ragtag family / like team, I loved Zila. Zila had such like a character development, like transformational period throughout this whole trilogy, and I loved it. I loved it so much. They were such a cool character, and they had lots of important things to say, and I don't know. Anytime Zila talked, I was just like all ears. It was exciting. So Zila, and then also another character in this book named Sadie. I love Sadie. Sadie is like the epitome of badass, female, strong, like main character. Well, I wouldn't say main character. She's like a side character. But still, she is such a badass. And she was awesome. If you hear any noise, the cats are just kind of like rolling around on the floor beside me. So, yeah. But anyways, I loved those 2 characters. I thought they were phenomenal. And they have my heart. Then we're at newest favorite character. And so I'm bringing it back, Shadow of the Gods. My favorite character in this book was Orca. And Orca is like the most badass mother in a book I have ever read. She is just so intense. Like in the beginning of this book, this isn't a spoiler, this is part of the synopsis. Her child gets taken, and so she is like on this mission to get her child back, and she will stop at nothing to get them back. And it is so intense. She's so cool. Like honestly, I would like bow down if I saw her. So yeah, Orca by far is my newest favorite character. And it's kind of funny because I saw Leslie from the Nerdy Narrative also say that Orca is her favorite character. I've seen Jessie from the Bookish Mom say that Orca is also her favorite character. Like Orca definitely had an impact on its readers. And yeah, such a great character. John Gwynne, you did an amazing job writing characters in this book. Yeah, props to you, man, because that was awesome. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what The Hunger of the Gods has in store. That's the sequel in the series. Just came out this year, and I can't wait to read that book. I'm probably going to save it for like more in later of this year, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. Next up, we had a book that made you cry, and books don't really make me cry. Like it has to be a really powerful book to make me tear up. I have not read any books this year that have made me cry, so I don't have an answer for this one. So, well, I guess I do have an answer, and that is none. But then we have a book that made you happy, and so for that one, I can choose Heartstopper Volume 4. I finally got to read this, and it has my heart. I love this series. I think Heartstopper is such a great series. I'm so happy it's on Netflix now, and I was waiting to read Volume 4 for so long, and then Marcus finally got it for me, and yeah, I was just so excited to read it. It made me very happy. It deals with a lot of like hard subjects, but it does it in a really good way, and it's just the cutest little love story, and I loved it so much. So yeah. Then we had the most beautiful book you've bought this year, and I have not really bought many books because I try not to spend too much money on books since I have way too many to read already. I chose Sorrowland though, just because this one I did physically purchase myself, and I think that the cover is very like beautiful with the hand reaching up and like the plants all growing around it. The book itself, I think I gave this like a 3.5. It was an okay, like decent book, but I think the cover is really like visually pleasing, and so I thought it fit the prompt very well. And then, of course, what book do I need to read by the end of the year? And so for this one, it's kind of a cop-out, but I am saying my entire NetGalley TBR because I am so behind. My NetGalley TBR still has books on it from 2018, so I need to get some progress done on that. I'm planning to read a lot more of those NetGalley arcs, so I guess they're not really arcs anymore because a lot of them are very delayed, but yeah. That's what I need to read by the end of 2022. Anyways, that's it for my mid-year freakout tag. Let me know if you had any similar answers to the questions, and let me know if you had any different ones. I'm always curious to know what you guys thought in the comments down below. If you guys want to support me, I have a Patreon and a Coffee page, which I'll put in the description down below, as well as linked by my bookmarks. You guys know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button so you get notified when I post new videos. I post new videos on Mondays and Thursdays. And until next time, keep on reading.